car with now 91,000 miles.
We get to 500,000 subscribers. This car will be given to one of the subscribers.
Suck it, Mike!
This is a flex fuel sensor.
So we're going to be using this fancy AEM wideband. And behind screen number 1, I'm going to actually start a log.
Because I'm getting false knock, I want to get in the engine area a little bit faster to give it a good bill of health. Instead of going down the intake path and having to deal with that false knock, we're going to go straight to adding a Cook's header with Cadet mids.
This is a kid's channel. You can't say she's coming on it. Get all that space for activities.
I want you guys to see the difference.
We got the fancy factory manifolds. This is a Cook's 2-inch setup.
And one of the beautiful things of this Cadet setup is that Cook's has been so kind enough to add a wideband bung. Now Cook's will provide you with new and good hardware, but I still like the factory bolts for the header.
So you can see that the head size, and it's a locking nut. This is like a 10?
Nope, 11.
11, great. Versus a 13.
Well, where the heck did that go?
It's coming together pretty quick now.
The labels may have been backwards. Oh boy, looking good.
How's it coming, Mike?
Hey, my life.
Beautiful.
First run with the headers. And of course, this video would not be complete if we did not run it on E85.
There's a difference right here between Pump Gas and E85. We picked up almost 20, 18 rear wheel horsepower and 20 rear wheel torque. I'm pretty happy with that.
Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. We are focusing on project, still don't have a name for it yet, but we're focusing on it. This is my white C7 that we've so far done Cook's headers on, and brought it from a factory 389 rear wheel horsepower up to 414 on pump with headers and 432 with E85, well, E70. And we are going to add today an AFE intake, and of course redyno on pump gas and E85. And also introduce you to one of the cool modifications that we made and likely are going to be selling soon that makes swapping fuels a breeze for those of you who want to run E85 in special occasions as opposed to like a mix or whatever all the time. So step 1, of course, is getting the old intake out and off.
There we go. Slow and steady. All right. Let's put that next to what we're working with. One there, one there.
So what Mike's going to do now is he's going to stick that intake in,
then
here we go.
We got the vent back on, and everything is ready to rock. A nice clean install, looks good. Now it's dyno time.
So let's get the fans on and let's get started.
This is my little tuning setup. This is how we would do it remotely as well. Ideally, you have the wideband where you can see it, and not like hanging at your feet and hitting. Go control on, and I'm going to watch the wideband. I do see that it pulled some timing down low. That could also be because there was a smidge of a lean spike. We're going to keep on plugging through and seeing what she does. Let's see what it ended up with. At 412, so that's not too bad. You can see where that timing got pulled out. It's kind of dramatic. That didn't have it before. I think we're going to see an actual increase here.
So you guys wait outside the car for me, okay?
welcome back. Welcome back, guys. We got a little bit of an improvement. It's not crazy, but we're up to 419 rear wheel horsepower. That's an improvement over the 414. It's like a 5 horsepower gain, 2 torque. It's nothing crazy. So our final numbers on pump gas came in a little bit higher than high. 421 rear wheel horsepower and 440 rear wheel torque. Now it's time for some E85 and that cool little contraption that I was telling you guys about. So here we go. This is a cool little thing that we added here. This is a quick connect, GM quick connects on both sides that go to the factory it's a GM flex fuel sensor, which quick connects from the GM flex fuel sensor to the quick connect on the factory rail. So that's awesome. All quick connects, all, you know, fairly accessible. We have the quick connect on the flex fuel sensor this way, because sometimes this gets a little tight and a fuel line doesn't fit in there to disconnect. But you'll be able to fit your fuel line disconnect tool in here very easily, and also over here, a little easy. You might have to take off the valve cover, but this is really sweet. And the reason why this is here, you're probably wondering, why the heck do you have a Schrader valve here? Well, it's so we can drain the fuel easily, because there is no drain for this. There's no quick connect, there's no Schrader valve, there's no area when this is connected to the factory to be able to drain fuel and swap fuels out easily. We do this simply by adding a fuel line here and turning a handle, and while the car's idling, and just let it stall out, and then the fuel's drained. So to connect to it, we made this little contraption here. This side screws into the Schrader valve, nice and easy. And then we have a valve, so once it's in and the car's running, you just do this with the car running, you open this bad boy up, it lets all the fuel through. Not all of it, just enough that the car can still idle and drain with the factory fuel system all the way. It's perfect. And when the fuel's drained like that, with this setup, it is almost perfect. Between all these runs, I've gone from 11% to 12%, swapping back and forth fuels, and to less than 5 gallons each time, which is really, really amazing. And having that there, which stays there permanently, is a wonderful, wonderful thing for those of you guys who are gonna go to the track, swap fuels at the track. Even if you're going to run like MS-109 or some other fuel like race gas, you can just use your pump gas on the way, race gas when you're there, and then swap back, so you save a bunch of money. And this is just really, really convenient. And now that we've filled it up with E85, all we got to do is start her up and let it idle for a little bit, or drive around, park throttle for a little bit. You do not want to go full throttle right away, because it goes lean. That's what happens when you go full throttle right away. It goes lean, or it'll go rich, depending which fuel you're going from and to, because the fuel still has to get through the line that's there. That's why there has to be probably about 10 minutes of idling, or maybe 5 minutes of driving. The 85 is in. The fuel is clean, or green. I don't know. It's Ghostbusters reference. Come on, guys. We got 437 rear wheel horsepower. That's pretty darn good. Where's the E85 final or E70 final? Headers, E70 final before was 433. So there might be a little bit more that I can squeak out of it. So next we're gonna rip this intake manifold off. And by we, I mean Mike, because Mike is my bitch today. Right, Mike?
Sure.
I pay Mike, so I guess this is going to be a harassment thing.
I need to speak with Complete Street HR.
Speaking, what can I do for you? Fuck! So underneath that cover, we found some sand. It was a Florida car.
There's a lot of sand in this car.
Yeah, it's a Florida car.
Yeah.
I guess we took it to the beach, maybe off-roaded it. Maybe that's where the paint damage was that we saw.
I don't know.
You done yet?
No.
Okay, cool. Look at that. More sand. Ooh, let's get a flashlight and see what the intake valves look like. I have a light. Look at this. Light me. Ugh. Wow. Kind of trashed.
I told you.
Kind of trashed. It's not the worst, but it's not great. Surprisingly, the valves look perfectly fine. It's the runners that are all crudded up. Not too bad, not too great. We're gonna remedy that with the next round of mods after this video, which we're gonna go down the deep end and do heads and cam on this bad boy. There's the LT1 intake manifold. Here's the LT2. You can see that it's higher and it doesn't have this like cutoff in the back, which might be the issue. Let's lay the LT2 on and see if there's any way to make it fit. And survey says no. No, the LT2 is not going to fit. As you see, it is coming up to the cowl. Unless you want to cut the cowl, I'm not going to cut the cowl. So there's a quick test for the LT2. That's why it doesn't fit. You could probably make it fit by cutting the cowl, but it's a Corvette. It's probably not worth it, especially when there's an MSD available for like 5 times the price. Corvette tax, bitch. And here we have the fancy MSD intake manifold side by side with the LT1. You can see that the height is almost the same, a little bit higher plenum over here. The back is, ironically, the back seems like it's chopped off a smidge.
They divoted it, yeah.
Yeah.
To fit the cow.
So that's pretty nifty. It's also set up for port injection. You just drill these bungs out here, and you can add port injection to this bad boy pretty easily. But we're not going to do that because it's just not in the cards yet. You can also see that the throttle body, this accepts the factory 87? Is it 87? 88 millimeter throttle body?
Oh, but
I can't remember.
You have to use an adapter.
But this bad boy has a big opening for the Nick Williams 103. Or your China brand piece of shit that's not going to idle right. So she's running this bad boy. I don't hear any leaks. That's awesome. And let's just double check. Yep, looks like no leaks. Usually, if you assemble it wrong, the fuel trims go haywire. We know this because we see it a lot on people who've just assembled it and haven't torqued things down properly and haven't like paid attention to the manual like we do. So for our baseline pull, what we're seeing is 430 rear wall horsepower. We're going to make some tune adjustments. You can see that most of it happened in the high end, very little trade-off in the mid-range. So time for a little tune adjustment, and then try again. So we picked up over pump gas a decent bit of high end with nominal stop in the middle. Like whatever this is, around 3,800. That's the only thing that we seem to have lost. So that's a really cool gain there. I mean, you can even see that the spread up top here, 407 to 426 is, I mean, that's a large spread. That's about 20 horsepower up top. But peak numbers, only 13. Still, it reads a better score than that. Definitely holding it out way, way better. Way nicer. Not falling flat on its face. So, E85 time. Let's do it. This should be the last of it. Since everybody's gone home, it's just you and me again, guys. Here we go.
take the time. I might add 1 more degree. What the hell? That never hurt anybody, right? We hit 451 rear wheel horsepower, 458 foot-pounds of torque. Look at that. That is pretty beautiful. I'm gonna add 1 degree, see what it does. It ended up doing 451 again. So yeah, definitely wasn't worth it. We're gonna stick with that 451, 459 rear wheel horsepower on E67 now, and throw on this throttle body. Don't think we're gonna get anything off of the 103 throttle body, but we're gonna try it anyway. I'm just not gonna run on pump gas and waste my pump gas. Side by side, you can see a pretty major difference. Now, moment of truth. Does the Nick Williams 103 throttle body add anything to an NA car? In my past experience, I'd say that this is a no, but sometimes things change. Now let me turn the fans off before I read you the results here, because I think you're going to be surprised. We have our wind tunnel system going on, which gets quite chilly. And now that it's kind of quiet in here, here come the results. The Nick Williams throttle body has gained a little less than 1 horsepower and a little less than 1 torque, and less than half a torque, I guess. You can see that there is a nominal difference between these guys. So we're gonna say, again, that on a naturally aspirated build, the 103 throttle body is still not worth it, at least at bolt-ons. Now we'll test this again when we do heads and cam on this bad boy, because that's what's coming up next. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Adios. We're here at Cecil County for the Holden Showdown. The Wagadoodle-Doo here, making like 975, 980 to the wheels. Maybe the wagon will be able to take on the Plaid. We're gonna find out today. Pretty freaking wild. I think I put the phone the wrong way.